And that's when I finally limited myself to only one shit a day. I said, no more, only one. If I get none a day, fine, so be it. Sometimes that happens, you know. If you go more than one day without one, you should be a little bit worried. But every now and again, if you get one day with no poo, then, you know, that's not too bad. But more than one a day, oh, come on, man. Sometimes it's beyond your control, obviously. You can't control the winds of fate, as it were, all the time. But, you know, if you can help it, or if I can help it, if me personally, I told myself, no, just the one for me, that'll do, that's enough. Like with, you know, drugs and alcohol, you've got to limit yourself. You've got to know your limits, the boundaries, know when to say no. Like having sex with children. Oh, hi everyone. Do you like the colour blue? Little boy Blue. He needed the money. Ow! That's Andrew Dice Clay. Today we're drawing blue. Do-do-do. I'm blue, dabba-dee, dabba-die, dabba-dee, dabba. Oh, I was going to maybe have some music and like link it in and be like, why are you playing that music? Oh, because it's blue. Did you know those are the actual lyrics? Dabba-dee, dabba-die. Oh, fucking... Why? I listened to that song again in preparation as a piece of research for this podcast. And it's fucking stupid and it's rubbish and I hate it. It's fucking silly. That's what it is. Blue. Dabble-dee, dabble-die. Do. Oh, that was a loud clap. I think it's this sketchbook. It might not be. Yeah, oh God, I turned right to the fucking page. Look at that. I did this ages ago when I was doing my Pokemon fusions. And I really liked the blue, the bluiness of it all. I was really happy with that. So one thought the fart boys. Classic ewan. What a pooin'. So I thought I'd do that again because it was a good look. And then I thought, what if, because sometimes it's hard to come up with shit for the podcast or whatever that's worth recording. But I thought I'd do a series of colour, because there's so many colours out there. There's at least 6 or 7 on the gay flag. I could probably use, so I do just a drawing in pink episode, a drawing in green, yellow, orange, red, purple, blue. We've got turquoise. I'm a bit because turquoise is in between, and so it's like same with like orange. Anything that's not one of the major food groups. Anyway, so I googled blue characters. I tried to Google blue Pokemon, but it kept coming up with just like the game Pokemon Blue, and I was like, no, you stupid fucking moron search engine. I don't mean just Pokemon Blue. So then I had to Google like literally the words Pokemon that are blue. That's not blue. Jesus, what the fuck? That's purple. It says blue slate. Shit, I've just ruined my Squirtle. What a cock. We're off to a good start. Yeah, I had to Google the words Pokemon that are blue, and it came up with a few. Obviously I could use my noggin, sort of figure it out, at least from the first 150, because those are the only ones I know, because I'm old. Well, I don't know if any of these pens work. I know a couple of them should. Some of them might, and the rest, well, I guess we'll wait and see. So I'm old, so I know the first 150 Pokemans. And then I know like Mudkip is blue. Marill, the little mouse, is blue. The little water Pikachu. Oh, this one's dead, innit? And that's about all I know of the blue ones, of the new ones. This looks purple too. Why are all of my blue pens purple? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, someone's had his caffeine. Ooh. You can usually tell because I'll either be like, yeah, I don't really have much to talk about today. I think I'll just draw in blue because, you know, it'd be quite cool. I'd do it for like a theme for several episodes so I could get out of it. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, we're drawing in blue today, woo woo, oh, I fuck children as a joke and I keep leaning on that as my crutch, oh, children fucking, woo woo woo. So today's a caffeine day, woo woo. Yeah, then the rest of the pokes, the pokems, I had to Google. And, you know, we got a bunch of other... I did Google blue characters. And there's a few good, like, visual lists, like grids of characters. The genie from Aladdin is in there, which, you know, I'm like, I'm not going to draw genie from Aladdin. There's the Na'vi from Avatar, Patooey. Not drawing them shits. Sully from Monsters Inc? Question mark. He's obviously blue, but he's a little bit turquoisey blue, isn't he? I don't like to classify him as just straight blue. Dr. Manhattan's in there. Well, that's quite a good one. I was thinking like more small round characters like Pokemon because they're easier to draw, harder to fuck up. Whereas if I fuck up a picture of Dr. Manhattan, it's going to look like a fucked up drawing of Dr. Manhattan. Which is, you know, not quite what we are going for. We're going for less fucked upness. Ideally, that's the goal. We'll see how it goes on you. Shame that the very first blue pen I decided to use didn't fucking work. Let's use ballpoint. Shall we have some blue facts? Let's rattle the cage of things that I know or things that I heard somewhere and claim to know. Things I think I'm clever about when actually I might not be. Might not be. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm saying there's a chance I might not be as clever as I like to think I am. Did you know, in England especially, blue Smarties were banned? They don't make them anymore because of all the E numbers, because of all the ecstasy they put in the blue colourings of candy. Smarties. Do you have Smarties in America land? Little chocolate discs. They're like M&Ms but cheap. I don't know. Yeah, they don't do the blue ones anymore. Blue is quite an unnatural colour. It does appear in nature, usually in like parrots or fucking poison creatures that are blue. Frogs. Turtles and tortoises aren't blue. That's a silly notion created by the Pocket Monster Company. Scientists were trying to breed a blue rose, but they just cannot fucking do it. They've tried and tried. Apparently they got a very, very pale, like a white rose with a very pale sort of blue tinge to the edges of it, but that's as close as they've been able to get after like decades and decades of breeding and crossbreeding different roses to try and get a blue rose. They just can't fucking make it happen. I say you do like Alice in Wonderland, just fucking paint them blue. Just dip dye a rose in blue dye and say, look, we made a blue rose, and everyone will be like, wow, that's amazing, can I see? And you'll go, no, don't touch it, because it's still wet. Oh, I mean, it's very fragile. You can't touch a fragile blue rose. Oh, please tell us how you made it. Write a scientific paper on it and have it peer reviewed so we can discuss how to go about making blue roses, and they'll say, nah, you're all right. And people will say, oh, is that actually a blue rose? Did you just paint a rose blue? Oi. Oh, what should we talk about today? Blue! Let's talk about the colour blue. Blue jeans used to be for poor people, but then rich people took them. Like mostly. Lobsters. Did you know 1 out of every million lobsters is bright blue? That's a blue fact. They're usually red. Did you know lobsters are usually red? And then literally 1 out of every million or something is fucking blue. You get blue fucking lobsters. Did you know lobsters don't die? They don't die by age. They're basically immortal, and they will grow and grow and grow until it just takes too much effort to grow out of their shell because they're so old. They're tired still, but they're not going to die because their body keeps regenerating certain cells that they have that regenerate. That we have the cells, but they don't regenerate in the same way. And they only die because they just get too tired to come out of their shell because they have to keep, they shed their shells and grow new ones. But it gets too tiring, so they basically stay inside their shell and get crushed inside their shell and die. Oh, we all know how that feels, don't we? We've all had days like that. Ooh. Is this the purple one? No, this is the blue. This will be a good Stitch colour. Look, I drew Stitch from Lilo and. But yeah, and then 1 out of every million lobsters is fucking blue. This is all off the top of my head, by the way. I haven't Googled blue. I was going to Google shitty music to use, but I've not Googled facts. I'm just proving how bloody clever I am, and I'll run out in 2 minutes. Actually, I had a couple in my head of I can mention the roses. I've got another 1 or 2 I can mention. The lobster one came out of nowhere. I surprised myself with that. Oh, Ewan, you never fail to amaze me. There was a girl at school. She was a very stupid girl called Amber. I think it's pretty safe to assume no one I went to school with watches my videos or interacts with me on Instagram or anything. Because I think if they did, somebody would come out of the woodwork and say, hey, Ewan, I went to school with you. It's cool to see you doing so well. Can you lend us some money? So I think it's pretty safe to assume I can call Amber a fucking dumb cunt. And have it be quite safe that she's not going to hear it. She was a dumb cunt. She's just one of the popular kids, and we all know what they're like. If I was one, I'd be like, yeah, popular kids are great, but I wasn't, so I hate them. I hate them all. They were mean to me. They weren't that mean. They're just kind of a dicks sometimes. You know what kids can be like. She once said, oh, Ewan, you cease to amaze me. She meant it. She meant you never cease to amaze me. Because I was drawing in class and, me drawing in class, everyone's like, oh, wow, Ewan, you're the best ever. You are so good at drawing. I wish I could be like you. And she incorrectly said, Ewan, you cease to amaze me. But she meant you never cease to amaze me. And then 3 people at the table, including another popular girl, looked at her like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She was like, what? You never cease to. You just told him that he's stopped amazing you because he's not good anymore. And she was like, oh my God, I didn't even realise. Oh, that's fucking silly. Because she was a dumb cunt. And, there's nothing too wrong about, oh, she just got the saying wrong. She just didn't say it correctly. But for one thing, it's a girl. And for another thing, she's a popular girl. So I feel I feel perfectly validated in bad-mouthing her and saying mean things unnecessarily about her. The whore she was. She's probably married with kids by now. They all are. All of them. I think I said, I'm pretty sure all of my exes are currently married with children, which is pretty funny. And I could have been one of those. I could have been a dad. Ooh, could you imagine? Can you imagine? That's from Alice in Wonderland. Is it? Yes! Blue. Did you know water is blue? Well, the but obviously it looks clear in a glass. But if you have enough of it, it is blue. Even the water you get out of your tap and put it in a glass of water and it looks completely clear. It's blue. Like the particles in it are blue. Blue, ooh, 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 ooh. But this is one of those. This is from that packet of like £1 pens. Oh shit! I was about to say it's probably really shit and doesn't work, but actually, because look at that. That's an ugly blue there. But then it comes out like this. That's very surprising. Well, I'm very surprised. Gosh. But it's just if you have the blue particles in the water aren't concentrated enough that it looks blue in a glass, whereas on a big enough scale, like I'm trying to. If you have like you know how old comics they used dots to colour all their shit. If you have loads of red dots but spread out, it looks pink, so you can make it like a pink colour. It's the same thing. Like if all the coloured dots, so the blue dots in water, are so spread out that it looks very, very, very light blue or doesn't look blue at all. But then if you, I guess, zoom out and then you have enough of the dots and you zoom out, then you'll see, oh, yeah, it's blue. Or something like that. It's me explaining why water's blue. I'm sure all of these facts are probably like I learned them somewhere. It's not like I have forbidden knowledge that no one else has. So I'm sure. I don't claim to be saying anything that none of you already know. That none of you know, that none of you don't know. That no one already knows. I'm not claiming to be dropping fucking science on people. I'm desperate to come up with something to talk about in my video about blue. This is nice, but again, I don't know if it works. Well, it kind of works, but it's a bit. No, that'll do. Yeah, we'll use that. Again, it's really nice. I've had this for like, I don't know, 8 years or something. I didn't think it would. Plus, it's been upright like this with the brush end up, so I figured all the ink would have drained out of it. How bloody wrong I was. One of those times I don't mind being wrong. Well, check it out. Ewan is wrong. We can add black in. There's no shame in using black in a video about the colour blue. No shame at all. I'm trying to make these fairly Ewan-y drawings as well. I don't want to just draw the characters because that's like kind of boring. A Smurf is on the list of blue characters. I think I'm definitely going to draw. I've drawn like Ewan-ish Smurfs before, which doesn't mean I can't draw them again. They're like goblins, aren't they? Like weird little blue goblins. Smurfs. You pronounce it Smurfs or Smurfs because of wolves and of elves. Because a wolf is a wolf, but collectively they're wolves, not wolves, with V-E-S. So a Smurf is a Smurf. But then the show is called The Smurfs, so I guess, yeah, it is completely correct to call them such. Oh, Ewan, your podcasts are so insightful and interesting. I love them. I wish you made them every day so I'd never run out of things to watch and listen to. Ooh. Look at these fucking hands. I don't think I've ever drawn little paws quite so well. I should work for fucking Disney. Christ. Oh, could you imagine working for Disney? That's one of those things. It's like currently the thought of working for Disney it's not. I was going to say fills me with terror. It's not even that. It's like fills me with hatred. Just what they do and who they are, and the way they treat like creators and stuff is just so awful. Like I want nothing to do with them. But if out of fucking some act of God or whatever, they came to me and said, Ewan, we'd like to make Gun Viking a thing. Here's 10 million pounds for the rights to Gun Viking. I'd say, cool, let's do it in a fucking second. I think I've said before, like, I'd like to have the option to sell out once, because I have no interest in things. I have no interest in cars, in houses, in holidays, in computer systems, televisions, fucking sound systems, phones, computers. I've said computers. I meant computers in gaming computers, and the second time I said it, I meant in like home, laptop use, PCs and stuff. I have no interest in any of that. So if I had, like, if Disney paid me tens of millions of pounds for something, I like to think I could literally take that money and run, and I could just use the money to live off of, to make shit, because that's all I'd want to do, and that's all I need to do. I've got all the money in the world to just go somewhere, buy a little room somewhere where I can just chill and make shit, and that's all I need to do. I could just keep doing that and doing that and doing that. And I'd have enough money to travel and see people, and I'd have money coming in from the stuff I was making. So that would be cool. And I feel like if I can sell out once and people would be like, oh, Ewan sold out, he used to be so cool and then he did this, that would last for a little while. But I figure several years after the fact, people would let it go, they'd forget, they'd move on to other things. I'd be creating, so people would see that. They'd see, oh, Ewan's not just sitting around doing dick all. He's out there making shit. And I'd try to get past the whole Ewan selling out thing. I don't know how successful I'd be with that, but that would be the idea at least. I don't know. I say all of this like, oh, if Disney came and gave me like that's going to happen. Come on, it would be nice, but let's be realistic. Still gonna fuck it up. This Squirtle is looking budget, isn't it, really? Especially next to the fucking... I knocked that Stitch out of the fucking park, didn't I? I'd not planned to make it look that fucking good, but that's a killer fucking drawing of Stitch right there. Fuck you if you think it's not. That's fucking... incredible. One of the best things I've ever drawn in my life. I don't know what's going on with this fucking Squirtle. Oh my god. Let's take a getting. Comic book full of artwork. Comics are my art books, man. They're the best art books you can find anywhere. I showed this in my Art of Simon Bisley video. Pretty cool covers. Someone McMahon on the front, I think. I got this because it contains a load of black and white pages of ABC robots by Simon the Bisley. And I wanted to look at those again, so I'm going to look at those again. As will be made mention further into the video, I filmed this bit after the rest of it, and then I put it in the middle, just so it feels like it breaks it up a bit. So as I will mention later on, there's certain comics I'm going to be working on that are black and white. Zilla, I guess, is one you know. And so I just thought I'd take in a bit of black and white inking. And it's 2000 AD, it's the Biz, it's cool, it's cool. I'm not really too interested in ABC robots necessarily in general. I never have been. I've never found them particularly interesting. They look cool, and certainly Simon Bisley's, because some of them kind of look a bit silly. It's stuff like this. It's like this isn't the sort of comic I'd pick up normally. The idea of it's quite neat, but it doesn't look like, the sort of thing I'd generally be too interested in. But then that's what got Simon Bisley, his first proper gig was reinventing the ABC robots as the badass mothers that he made them. And you can see it almost straight away. I don't know if these are the first ABC robot strips he did, but I have no sense of like time or anything. It's like looking at the inks, trying to see if there's anything that stands out in terms of like technique and such. Lots of white space, which is quite surprising. But I guess you can't really have... Because even with some of these panels, it's almost hard to make out what's going on. So if you have loads and loads of details filling up all this space, then it's even worse for that, isn't it? And that is one issue with this book as a whole, is especially... I don't know if Simon Bisley especially, but maybe Simon Bisley. It can get quite difficult to see what's happening. Like, you can see that's a guy with a gun, but like... Yeah, it was almost abstract and... I don't know. They're cool drawings, though. Gotta give them that. There's some cool fucking drawings in there. You can see his mixed media splashes and stuff, which is cool to see. That's fun to see in Simon Bisley's work. Black and white and colour. It's pretty cool. Some cool shapes. Loads of detail and stuff. And this you can see, obviously, it's early on in any comic creator's career. Oh, don't spell that with K's. K. Is they really sort of go all out, put in all the detail, make it all proper, try to be as on brand for the comic as a whole as they can be. Because that's how you get your foot in the door. You have to show that you can do what's necessary before they'll let you go off and do your own thing. And I think that's, what I would need to focus on, is to send someone some work that's like the work they ask for before I start trying to get work doing just whatever I want to do. As nice as it would be to just send them Gun Viking and be like, this is what I do, give me money, you cunt. That's cool. That's a very, very Bisley thing. I like as well that it's a robot, but he's still got like muscles and veins and sinew and stuff. But it's all robotics and shit. Really, really cool, like cartooning drawing of a person, and that dog is really fucking cool. That's really well drawn. And a good amount of like shadow to non-shadow parts. I'm trying to clock his hatching as well. Because sometimes he's got like neat hatching, and then sometimes it's more scribbly stuff. Sometimes it's heavy shadows, sometimes it isn't. And like I say, those are the things I'm trying to sort of pull out of this to be like, okay, so that works here, not here. Not that, that's cool. I've copied enough Bisley already in my comics, so I'm not trying to be like, right, what do I need to do to be Bisley in my black and white inking? But just pull out a few things. And there are plenty of other inkers that might be better to look at if you just want to learn to ink black and white comics. But I don't know, I feel like Bisley's style is a bit more, I don't know, grounded in reality. I don't know. There's people like Brian Bolland, for instance, who's painfully, and Dave Gibbons, who did Watchmen, they're like painfully just labour intensive and detail oriented and tidy and neat, and they have so much time and attention into every stroke that they make with their inking, and that's just not something I can bring myself to do. So something like Bisley, where it's a bit more rough and ready, I think is what I mean, that is something more relatable to me. So to look at Bisley's inking, it's more like, oh, I could do that, whereas I look at Dave Gibbons, Brian Bolland, and I'm like, that's not me. That's not something I can do. That's a whole other level. I'm sure I could do it, but if I applied myself, that's really cool. I love this panel. It's really neat. Anytime you have to fit multiple bodies into one area is really difficult. So that's a really good one for that. And that's really fucking cool. Again, very Bisley. Like those classic Slain pages where it's like a full splash panel and it's just Slain being slain with his cape and horns and stuff. Very cool. That's cool. I forget his name, but I think that's the one. The story goes that I heard was Simon Bisley sent them a picture of this guy. Is it Johnny Pineapple or something? I don't know. Holding a baby. I think it was that. And then straight away they were like, yes, let's work together. Which is quite cool. That's the story I heard. I'm not sure how accurate it is. And then someone that's not Simon Bisley, why do I care? I feel a bit bad that that's sort of how I operate, but because I tend to look at comics because of the artists. So if it's an artist I'm not really aware of or I don't care about, I just sort of throw it to the side and I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, they could be amazing drawings, but I'm just like, I don't care. You're not the person I'm looking at. I don't give a shit. But that said, there's been a lot of times where I've been looking at one artist's work, through that happened upon another artist and been like, oh shit, this guy's cool. Who's this? And have found not better, but other sort of new artists through that. So I do pick up new artists and find other work here and there, but for the most part, it's looking at work by artists I like. Again and again and again. That's really cool. Panoramic panel. Really cool shapes. All the anatomy, the arms, chins and stuff is really, really solid. Just, typical Simon Bisley, good drawings. And that's what it is. It's comic book work and it's cartooning, but ultimately, especially for panels like this, it's just really good quality drawings, which I love to see. Because that's one thing I find I get really bogged down sometimes. If I'm trying to develop a page, I get too bogged down in creating it as a comic book page in terms of, well, this bit has to be here because of this and this, so the story has to work. And then the quality of the drawing suffers because I'm focusing too much on everything around the actual drawing. So I think sometimes I need to just... Well, it's like I say, isn't it? You got to not think about it. Just do it. Just dive in and go, right, good drawing. Make it fit in the panel. Other elements around it, cool. That's done. We're done. But then sometimes, if you've got to fit like several characters and other elements into one scene in one panel, it's like you can only draw it so well if it's from a certain angle and there's all this shit going on. But I guess that's what these panels are for. This is where you put in the good drawings. And then this stuff, it's like still good drawings, but they're more, they have a purpose as opposed to just looking cool. And it is cool when you get... I love the heavy blacks. That's something I feel is lacking in mine as well. That's one thing I annoyed myself with Gun Viking, is everything's paint and it's colour, and there's very few parts in that where I use heavy shadows, which I'm annoyed about. I would have liked to have worked on that a bit more, and may do in future Gun Viking and future comics in general. But that's something I really want to sort of work on, is using heavier shadows, like larger areas of black, because I love, you get panels like this where it's like a lot of white space, and in the earlier on ones, lots of white space and drawings and things. But then I love when it switches up and you get stuff like this, heavy black panels with shit going on, those heavy shadows, really, really nice lines. I love that shit, man. I love lines. That's why I like hatching. Why, like ballpoint. There's a certain lane of ballpoint artists who like replicate photographs and do really hyper realistic stuff with ballpoint pens, but they use the pen. They don't use lines. They sort of colour in areas and then colour them in harder and harder to make them darker and darker. So you get like a smooth blend doing that, but it takes a fucking long time to do, and it's really sort of draining. But I love lines, like ink lines and stuff, so that's why I love hatching. And then using lines to create shadow and form and stuff. It's like a magic trick, because that's where you use like the soft blend technique. It's not easy necessarily, but all you're doing is replicating the photo that you're looking at. You're just using the same values in a different medium, which, like I say, it's its own skill, but it's kind of boring because you're literally just copying what's there. Whereas with hatching, you're literally like using lines instead of what's there to imply form and imply shade, rather than just copying the values that you see. I guess in a similar way to how Tarantino talks about preferring film to digital film or whatever, video, because digital video literally copies what you're seeing. It creates a copy of what you're looking at in the file, whereas film takes hundreds and hundreds of thousands of individual photos of what you're looking at and then plays them, in a reel, and it creates it's almost like animation in a way. It creates the illusion of movement, and that's what Tarantino says. That's why he loves film, because it's like that illusion. And that's not why I like hatching as opposed to like smudging and shading and stuff, but that's one way to look at it, is that you're using something that shouldn't work and it kind of does work. Like all the hatching and lines and shit shouldn't necessarily make like a perfect image, but if you do it right, it can do. That's cool. That's really cool. That's the sort of thing that like would get me to read this comic. I'm not gonna, because fuck that. But yeah, it looks cool. So why wouldn't you? Cool, cool, cool. Guns, muscles, robots. Love that. The silhouette. The guy with the gun, just implied with a few lines. It's really smart. I like that. Fucking. Just that's such a Bisley drawing. The pose, the hand, the gloves. The gloves that are like here. I've stolen that so many times. Oh, fuck. It's really good. That's cool. I talk about the difficulty of drawing dynamic shooting poses, but that's a fucking great one there. With his foot up. His body, there's movement in it. You can see what's happening. And he hasn't drawn like the arm and all the different muscles and details. It's pretty basic in terms of shape, but you can see exactly what's going on. The blast, the shell coming out. And then another angle of the same sort of shot. This guy getting blown away. Pretty fucking good. Oh, yes. Oh, that's what we like to see. Oh, God, that's good. That's really fucking good. And that's cool, like more cartoony looking, but completely fair. Shoots, and then he goes, dude, gets deaded. I feel like this is more getting, like, you can almost see a difference in the earlier ones, where this feels more like more traditional comic book work. Still Bisley, but more like heavily detailed and almost busier. Whereas this, it's more bold and graphic, and it's more, I guess, Bisley finding his style or using more of his style as opposed to what's expected of him necessarily. Lots more just bold, dynamic poses taking up the whole panel. God, it's really, really good. It's really, 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 really good. That's cool. I can't tell what's going on. That's a mouth and a head with an arm coming through it. I guess it's someone bursting through someone else. But it's really fucking good either way. Whatever's going on is fucking good. And that's one of the annoying things about what I'll get on to talking about because I'm recording this afterwards, is sample scripts and stuff very rarely have stuff like this in them, because they want to see that you can draw the mundane aspects of a comic as well as like action and stuff. So sample scripts that, you know, they get you to do for portfolio work tends to be a bit more low-key. Because I'd love to do, 6 pages of this and send it to 2000 AD and be like, look what I can do. But if they want me to draw a comic that's 6 pages of people talking and all I can do is this, then they're not going to hire me. You know, that was like Bisley having fun drawing that. That looks like fun to draw. All these little like textured bits of the tongue. These lines are really fun to shade. The toes and shit. These faces coming out of everywhere. Mad fun to draw that shit. Oh, all right, that'll do, won't it? Oh, okay, no, we'll leave it there. That's a good place to leave it. Hoi. There you go, Bisley being Bisley as Bisley. I mean, you can see why they took him on and how he came to be the fucking god of comics that he is. See, I'm doing quick noises because it's Sonic Hedgehog. Sonicos los Hedgicos. That's Spanish. The end. That's the end of my story. Did you know? Nice. Neither did I. Hi. Welcome to Blue. Little boy Blue. Hey, native. Yeah, I know. Told that joke twice. Get out! You're not allowed here. You told the same joke twice. It's a Banksy painting, isn't it? People dragging a clown, and it says you told that joke or something. I don't know. I'm drawing Sonic the Hedgehog. Kind of. I'm drawing like a funny little mutated Sonic head with legs because I drew his head really big and I can't really fit his body in. Are his legs blue or are they skin colour? They're blue, aren't they? He's got blue legs. So I'm going to have to Google Sonic Hedgehog. Do I need to type Hedgehog or just will Sonic do? Just Sonic. Blue, yeah, he's got blue legs. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure because it might look silly if I give him skin. Not that I'm going to be using skin colour because, that's not blue. It's not what we're doing. How's that for a slice of fried gold? That's Shaun of the Dead. Will this blue do for the outline? I don't really know. No, it looks a bit light. Yeah, a little bit light. Oh, You can see a drop came out of that. I think it's like the alcohol or whatever in the pen, because it fucking smells. Again, all of these. Oh, see, that one's not really working. That's a shame. Ugh. That's also not working. Oh, if I run out of like dark blues, that would be appropriate for outline usage. That makes me sad. This is, or was, a really light blue. Oh, again, I thought this would have run out, but evidently I was fucking wrong. Shit all over my penis. Do, 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 do. I also won't be doing his shoes red as they are normally portrayed, because I'm not using red, I'm using blues. Jesus, come on now. Oh, Squirtle. Squirtle was always my first pick in the games because it's just best to have the water type tends to do well against more different types than other types. But also, you end up with Blastoise, so why would you not choose Squirtle? Oh look, now I've got a Pokemon with fucking cannons on his back. Gun Pokemon. See, that's all I ever wanted was guns. I want characters with fucking guns and shit. I don't know if... Oh, that might work. As an outline colour. Yeah, it's good enough. Good, the bloody enough. That's all we really want in it. Just something that's good enough. Don't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough. Mouth. I don't... The fact about water was like the only other blue fact I had. I don't have any more blue facts. I ran out. And there we learn the downfall of trying to prove how smart you are by not having shit ready to go that you Googled. Because now I've run out of shit because I didn't have anything else ready to go because I didn't Google anything. So fucking shitty shit to be me, I suppose. What a fat fucking idiot. I say that I've been doing good with my like weight loss and stuff. I actually have, if you care to know. So I've got this. I had this belt. It's like a black leather belt, just nice and simple. But I got up to the very last loop, and then it got too tight, and there wasn't enough space on the end of that one to make a new hole. So I moved to I have this brown leather belt, which is a little bit bigger and has more space. So I used that, and then I eventually had to make another hole in it because I was getting that big. Too big for everything. But I moved down from the hole I had to make on that belt. Then I moved down to the next hole, and now I'm back on my black belt. I'm a black belt again. Fuck yeah, I'm fucking ninja. I'll beat the shit out of everybody. But it means that it's progress. You know, part of it is like being healthier because I need to be, because fuck me. I don't know if I said about how, so Gun Viking came in 8 boxes, very, very heavy because they're boxes of books. And I live up 2 flights of stairs. So I was aware that like getting them up here was just going to be a fucking pain in the arse. Because it's getting to the point where I come home with my shopping and I bring it upstairs and I have to sit down because just walking up the stairs with my shopping was fucking killing me. That's quite cool. I like that. So Gun Viking arrived. I got it up. I got a taxi from the place, my mailboxes, and then I got the books upstairs. I was very tired still, but nowhere near as tired as I would have been had I not been exercising more and eating better. So It's positive steps. We're moving in the right erection. So that's good. That's a good sign. Good for me. Super good for super me. Hooray me. Yay for bloody me. I can't remember why I was even speaking about weight loss. Oh, because I called myself fat. This is a smurf. A sperm. A smurf. A smove. Like smog. But a I have no idea what I'm fucking doing. As if I ever do. Ooh. See, it's funny because I'm a turd. Sharpies aren't the best to colour in with, but I'll fucking do it anyway, because I don't give a fuck. I'll fucking do it anyway, you goddamn bitch. I hate you and I hope you die, you whore. I fucking kill you. I will throttle you and chop your body into pieces and dump them in the forest where no one will find them for the next 50 or 60 years. And they'll discover that I did it, but I'll be really fucking old, so they won't think it proper to put me in prison for years and years and years. So they'll just let me die in my nursing home, and then I'll go to the place where I buried you in the forest, and I'll lie down there in the cold until I'm dead, and we'll be together again. Do. Hey, wow, that was a cool song by Cool Ewan, the cool guy. I hope I get to be like him when I'm old. What? Smurf hat, na. You got a Smurf hat. I wish I had a Smurf hat. I'd wear it every day while I cut myself. Oh no! I don't do that. That was a joke. When you get arrested, the police ask you before they put you in a cell if you have any like history of self-harm or anything, and they asked me, and I said no. I mean, I had a little bit. I don't know. I'm not going to go into it, but I said no because I was like, well, it's none of your fucking business. Go fuck yourself. Do you have a history of self-harm? Fuck off. None of your fucking business, you prick. Well, there you go. That's what I expected from the £1 pens. That. The fact that the other one was so good, surprising. It's kind of shitty. It's not a great pen, but considering all things considered, it's actually quite bloody good. That? Ooh, it's fucking great. Waddle daddle do. Dwaddle doo, diddle daddle doodle day. Right, so I know I have a tendency to talk about projects I'm planning on working on, and then working on them for 5 minutes, and then you never see them again. For instance, Spider-Man. Honestly, I lost all fucking confidence with that Spider-Man. I don't know what happened. The next time I sat down to like work on it, I was just like, fuck, like it's not in me. I'm sure it will come up at some point. It'll come out of me. But for now, I'm having to leave it alone just because it's just fucking gone. Whatever was in me to make that Spider-Man comic is just not there anymore. It's fucking gone. I think part of that is like I am making moves with Gun Viking and outside of Gun Viking to try to get like paid illustration work. Because as fun as it can be, I don't want to, and I really can't, live off of commissions forever. So I'd like some work outside of Instagram. And I think that's one of the main things is I spend too much time on Instagram and such, as it is, so I'm trying to minimise that. But the fact is, currently, that's where I get my money, so I kind of have to be on there. So I would like to have some form of income outside of that. And the likelihood of being picked up by Marvel or anyone else because of a little 6-page Spider-Man story I did is unlikely at best. I'm really happy with that. That's really cool. That's kind of cool. That's a pile of shit. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking there. That's really fucking cool. I really like this. I really like the Smurf head. So I'm revisiting a Judge Dredd sample script that I did years and years ago. I cannot for the life of me remember if I showed you or not. I might have done. So I don't want to show it again just in case you're all going to be like, we know, you've seen this already, you fucking prick, Ewan. You big gay nard. That's Godzilla. But I think now, when I first tried it, I was sort of early to mid 20s, and I don't think I'd even done Zach Ridley at that point. I might have. No, I think I was working on Zach Ridley when I first tried it. So my sense of storytelling and comic book making in general, and characterization, and just drawing in general, anatomy and bodies and backgrounds and all kinds of stuff, has vastly improved since I first tried it. So I think now I'm in a better position to do it in such a way that it may or has a possibility of leading to something. I checked on the 2000 AD website and they still are using that script as a sample script, so that's cool. They're not currently accepting submissions, the website says, because of lockdowns and stuff. I guess they're not taking on any new staff, which is fair enough. Or new staff, new artists, writers, whatever. But it would be cool to get the script done and have it ready to go, so when they are accepting new work from people, portfolios and such, then I've got it ready to go. I can fire it off straight away, show it and go, look at me. Because I think, I honestly, I think I can make a good go of it now. I got some A3 paper because I have an A3 commission, that Spider-Man villain commission, so I've got some A3 paper to do that on. And obviously normally when I do comic book pages, I do them A4 just because it's easier and because I don't care in general if they're small and the detail gets lost or whatever, because I like this. But for that sample script, the Judge Dredd sample script, I'm going to do them A3 as a real comic book artist would, because I want them to look proper, and there's certain amounts of detail and stuff that I'm going to need to get in there. So I'm going to really, really work hard to get it good. And then fucking send it to them and be like, hey, pick me. Because that'd be cool, wouldn't it? You know, that'd be fucking cool. I'm going to just because I want to. Sometimes in these podcasts, it's sometimes about me just, you know, doing stuff that's cool and fun and interesting to share with you guys. But it's also sometimes it's good for me to talk about things. I haven't interacted with another person in like 6 months or more since my best friend moved away. Partly for my own reasons. I could have gone to London to see people, but it's money and it's all these factors that I've been on my own. I've not interacted physically with another person for a long fucking time. So some of this, the podcast and everything, is me bouncing ideas off of myself, but it feels like I'm almost talking to another person. So you get it. So I think I've already shown some of this, but I'm going to show again just because. So this I did last night was thumbnailing out this strip based on the script that I downloaded. And I think I've gotten a bit better idea. Some of it's basically the same. Some of it I've got a better idea of like space and how to draw people consistently across a story and how to put panels together. So this is rough as shit, and you obviously can't really see what's happening, but I think it'll be really good. So the strip is this. It's called Cycle of Violence. There's a cover I did. I'm pretty sure now I have shown this off, because it's about this kid who grows up to be a judge. So he's a kid in judge clothing, see, with a dread in the background. So it starts off, this woman is supposed to be like a streetwalker, a hooker, a hooer. She's dead on the floor, and then you see it's her, but you guess it's her in this small apartment. And the dad has a shard of glass to his kid's throat, and then Judge Dredd shoots the guy, and he goes blam, and then the kid's like, oh my god. And then that's a page I don't have, where the kid is looking up at Judge Dredd in awe, like, wow, he's my hero. And then he goes to the law academy, and he's a really, really good student, and then he gets picked on, but then he beats the shit out of the people who pick on him. And then it goes to this page, where he's a cadet, and he's beating the shit out of someone with his nightstick, his law stick, whatever. And then he's getting reprimanded by a bunch of higher-up judges. And then that's him in the dorms telling stories of how Judge Dredd killed his dad. So he's got like his finger gun, and the kids around him are going, ooh, ah. And then he makes it to be a judge. So he's on his judge bike driving down the street with everyone around him not liking him, swearing at him and looking angry at the judge. And he's like, yeah, I fucking love this shit, let's go. And then him as a judge, he shot this guy in the leg, and the guy's like, oh fuck, and he's like, yeah, you shouldn't have been bad. And then the number one judge, the big boss guy, is like, you can't keep doing this, man. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then, is that actually the next page? Yeah, and then there's another dead streetwalker. So the point is, because it's called Cycle of Violence, so there's a few panels. So that's one thing I've missed, is that these panels should look basically identical. And so that's one thing I'm going to put into the new one, is have this transfer better into this panel, so you can really see this is her. And then also basically repeat this with a few slight changes, and obviously be a different woman. So you can see it's another dead hooker, and it repeats. And then this is the suspect, the guy who killed her. I purposely made him look like Homer Simpson. That's funny. And he's being interrogated, and he's angry, and it's raining, and that's the new judge, Judge Klein, his name is. And so this is all a bit muddled. I was trying to do something, but it didn't quite work, I guess. So that's the suspect guy in his raincoat, and that's the judge coming after him because he got off out of the interrogation room. He didn't get arrested. And then there's like a city with a caption and stuff. So I tried to like blend it all in, but that needs some work. So I'll work on that. Then he breaks into the guy's apartment, and he's got him in a chokehold, and he ties him to a chair. I was quite happy with this, but I'm not doing this in the new one. And then this is supposed to be like a repeat of that panel, but he's pistol whipping the guy, leaves him bloodied and bruised. And then Judge Dredd bashes in through the door, and he's like, oh my god, it's Judge Dredd. And he's like, woo, yeah, you fucking what, mate? That's quite a cool panel. The drawing's not great, but it's pretty neat. And then some of these are photocopies, some of the originals. And then Judge Dredd's pointing a gun at him, and he's like, damn you, Dredd, this guy, he deserves it, he killed a woman, something, I'm a judge. And then here he's like, you know, Judge. And then he looks in his reflection. See here, his reflection is swearing at him. But I'll do that better. I was trying to do shit with angles and stuff, like having him this angle and this angle. Like there's some okay stuff in here, but it needs to be tightened up a bit. And then he points a gun at Dredd, going, you don't get it. And then Dredd shoots him, which is, again, supposed to be a repeat of... Do I have it on the first page? No, just this one, this bad print job. So that's supposed to be like that. So I need to do better with the repeating panels and a few other things. But so I mean, even in this old version, I had the basics there. It wasn't terrible, but it's certainly, yeah, there's certain things that need to be cleaned up and sorted out. But as I say, since then I've done Zach Ridley, I've worked on another Zach Ridley, I've done several of my own funny comics, I've done an entire Gun Viking, through all of which I've learned quite a lot. And so I think for this 6 black and white pages, and you know, I'm redoing Zilla, so I'm in the headspace of redoing old comics. So I think it would be fun as a challenge anyway to redo this, but also if I do it to a level where I think it's good enough that I can send it off as portfolio work, maybe get picked up by 2000 AD, then that'd be pretty fun. Cool. I think I will do another cover for it as well, because that'd be quite neat to send with it, to be like, here's the artwork and here's a cover I did for it. So you know. But yeah, so that's another project. Like I say, I do that all the time. Start a new project and then never get anywhere with them. But 6 black and white comic book pages, A3, so they're bigger, but I think I can manage that. In between, you know, fucking Zilla and How Not to Draw Comics the Marvel Way and commissions and everything else, you know. Anyway, I'm blue, dabba-dee, dabba-die, dabba-dee, dabba-die, dabba-dee, dabba.